Over the past 2.5 years, I've been faced with a very emotionally challenging situation. I had a parole grant and I had it took away from me. If that would have happened before I went to yoga, I would have copped out. But through yoga, I was able to breathe. I was able to stay centered and stay focused on the prize. And what I value is going home to be with my family. So through yoga, I was able to just stay centered and continue on my path of embracing these pro-social values.
I set up the Prison Yoga Project with the mission of bringing yoga into prisons everywhere. What started out with just teaching a class a week has turned into a whole project and a whole life's endeavor now. I've trained over 1,500 teachers in the United States who are going into over 120 jails and prisons. And it took a while because I would show up with a yoga mat under my arm and I would get different kinds of comments from prisoners and prison staff about, is that a yoga mat? Well, you know, what's that all about here? But over time, the word got out. Hey, this is no joke. You know, this is helping me with my sleep. This is helping me with the stress and anxiety that I'm experiencing. This is helping me get in better shape and so on and so forth. So the program grew over the years. And so now it's got a reputation. I actually have easily 50 guys on a waiting list to get into one of the classes. Exhale, arms come down, chest high, and then complete.
It took me about a year. I got lucky. It was only about a year waiting, and I just give it a shot. You know, I came up with an open mind. You know, I didn't know what to expect really. You know, we'll see. I'll give it a try. As far as my self-awareness, my mindfulness, being aware of my physical sensations, my emotions, be thoughtful, mindful of my thoughts, my actions, connecting with other people. It just helps me on my everyday life.
It's a release, it's a stress relief, it's health, recovery, centering. It's a lot of things.
Let it go. All that stuff you've been carrying around, let it go. One more. My approach is, I call it a trauma-informed, mindfulness-based approach to teaching yoga. And it really is in the domain of yoga therapy rather than public yoga, which is much more focused on the physical benefits. I always say the physical benefits of the practice are the icing on the cake.
I grew up in a dysfunctional environment, dysfunctional childhood, so I had a lot of trauma suppressed within me. But yoga have taught me how to be aware of that trauma when it come up in triggers and whatnot. It done taught me how to breathe through it, get through stressful times, get through the stories that go inside my head. Like they say, the body hold score keeps trauma. So once I was able to get that up out of my body, doing the yoga, I think about after 3 years, I started working on my inner self.
So as I ring the chimes, just listening until the sound stops. Because the program is a mindfulness-based program, definitely a very practical growth in increased self-awareness in terms of being able to recognize, okay, I've got an urge, and I actually have a choice here. If I'm self-aware, I can notice what the urge is, what the impulse is to use, and I can back off long enough and take a few breaths. Open the chest, open your shoulder, drop your chin. Anybody who's in a prison setting is exposed to trauma on a regular basis. So again, it's really imparting some of these skills through yoga, how to deal with these issues when they arise.
So through yoga, sometimes when I come in here, if I'm off balance in my life, I'll be off balance in my poses. But what I do now, I don't fight it, I just relax. And I rely on my fellow Sangha, my fellow brothers and sisters in the Sangha to get that pose for me. I don't fight no more. And with that in mind, I don't fight things that come up in my daily life no more.
Before, when people come talk to me in the yard and I can just hear them talk, and I didn't want to hear it, you know, this is just, it's me. And Now today, when I hear people that want to talk, then okay, I understand why they want to talk. You know, I listen to them because people want to talk sometimes for a reason. There's things that people go through that they want to share. So I can understand and really focus and listen to the person because I know where the guy is coming from. Something that I couldn't do before.
The National Council on Crime and Delinquency, which is a nationally recognized organization, came in and did a study of my program in 2012. And they found that participants in my program had more emotional control, calmer temperament, improved rational decision making, relief of chronic pain. And this is the kind of feedback that I get from my students.
You know, the world is noisy. I grew up in noisy environments. I mean, prison been noisy for me. But through yoga, I know, like I said, I know how to breathe, I know how to relax, and I'm aware of what's going on. I'm aware of what I'm feeling. The thoughts and actions that I may produce if I react from a place of fear, if I react from a place of anxiousness or anger. Yoga done taught me how to just breathe and, you know, relax and perceive the truth of what's going on, right? Because everything we perceive is not the truth. It can just be something coming up, something that you was triggered for. So, and I know society got a lot of that. So that's how that's gonna help me when I get out.
I'm actually preparing for my first parole hearing in 3 months, 3 months away. And part of my parole plans are yoga. It's a vital component of my overall physical, emotional, spiritual health. And my church wants me to teach a class at our church. So, and I don't know if I'm ready for that, but.
Yeah, you're ready. You're ready.
Yeah. Oh, I'm never going to stop doing yoga. I'm never going to stop doing yoga.